EX has got the facts for you. EX the storyteller, bringing the spark, no one does it better.
You said that they can't help us. Sister Keisha and I, along with President Divine from the U.S. Freedmen Project, Brother Tad from OG Wisdom Podcast, and Brother Sage, we all attended this conversation in East Flatbush of the diaspora, where they were, basically they were expecting it to be a one-sided conversation where they were going to talk and there was going to be no FBA representation, right? But we made sure that didn't happen. So today at 8 p.m. on Thorough Black Talk, we're going to show video of that. But the point of what I'm saying is there was an instance in that time where one of the people there, he was a Haitian gentleman, and they were all talking about, what they've done in the community, blah, blah. So they were saying that they had went at the necks of, and I wish Divine was here because I know he knows it, one of the Haitian representatives, political representatives that we have. I think she's a council person. And in East Flatbush, Brooklyn. And he was saying, that they've done this trying to take her down and done that trying to take her down. And I looked at Keisha and I said, they're telling us that they can't do it. They can't do it. So it really doesn't even matter, we keep thinking that if we get allies that it'll make us mightier. And if we look at history, taking on allies has made us weaker.
Yes.
And so you're absolutely correct in that. And I just wanted to, back you up on letting you know what they're saying out of their own mouths. They can't do it. They try to take down their own people, so because I've asked the question numerous times, if to people who, to non-FBA who say that they are on our side. I'm like, well, then why aren't you louder than the people that are trying to take us down? Why aren't you doing something about your own? And as Sister Keisha says, why aren't you getting your tribe in order? And so that's pretty much the answer that we're getting, that they can't.
Right.
They can't.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I'm glad the Bible talks about he that have an ear to hear. You're hearing what they're saying because that's what you detected in the council meeting. And then you seen his actual present, that he was crying out himself, or he was trying to fool you all to inform you that he was stumping for us to go for his own people, which, if I would have been there, I would have been able to determine that there's some deception in the way that he's putting that scenario out there to make us kind of like put our hands, kind of like drop our guards down. And a lot of them come with our colloquial and our saying, and they hold these meetings and they talk our talk in order to get us to drop our guards. That's why we got to be a little bit more sensitive to the brethrens, because if nothing else, another man can recognize the slickery of another man. Just like sisters can recognize the influence of deception that's coming from another sister when she's improper within our household, with our family, or with our man. So we have to begin to make room for all our righteousness in its totality when we're dealing with invaders. These people have come and been here for the last 10 years. No, more than 10, because I think they started in 2009 or 2008. And they
in New York, I'm sorry to just interrupt you for 1 second, but in New York, they've been here 100 years.
Yeah, so they've been here for a minute. So all the time that they've been here, they have been getting their numbers up. They have been acclimating to our culture. They have been swindling us on the down low. So we wasn't tripping because, it was enough to go for us. It's always enough to go around for everybody. You know what I'm saying? So we wasn't tripping. But now when they open, and even now, we don't mind being kind of broke and busted because it ain't nothing new to us. But it's the disrespect, being broke and busted, and then you disrespecting us while you sitting up here taking bread off our table. Oh no, absolutely not. So now we have to begin to realize that these individuals has nothing to offer us, but they're coming to take from us that what we have already built. So now what you and I must do according to the Bible, let me tell you this I'm gonna tell you this. When Moses began to deal with the Egyptian, as long as the brethren was holding up his hand, they won. As soon as they got tired and moved their hand, they lost. And so that is the same time period you and I and everyone who are foundational Black Americans, who are Negroes, which I'm part of a Negro Women's Society, and we have 2 million of us, and we're looking and booking. That's basically what we're doing. We're very quiet. We're dealing with Trump executive orders and stuff, but we're some very proper Negroes or very proper people. Okay. So, but we do things classy, basically. And so you have us, you have our children, which is you all, which is Foundation Black in America. And then you have our army folks, which was Negroes who went from Negroes to freemen. So you all, even though some of the things that I've seen and heard when reparation hit the scene, I wasn't too happy about, but I did discard it because we all make mistakes. We're not, all of us, we're not perfect. So we all make mistakes, but I haven't seen anything that's so dishonest in my bloodline of my people that I need to go against, each other. You know what I'm saying? So once we are now seeing who we are now able to hold up each other's hand by unifying our strategies that we have to deal with different issues. So some of us have government, some of us have nonprofit organization that deals with the gatekeeping of our schools, that deals with the gatekeeping of our community, that deals with, us not having any kind of loans or whatever. So the only thing you need to help is that legal force that is in the NBNU. And you go through brother and sister BX can get specific where I don't handle that. I usually send everybody to, through the Negro Black Heritage Club. So one is the application process so I can know who's who. And then two, with the legal claims that we begin to follow because there's ongoing harm, my FBAs are entitled to that particular sector of what happened to us of days of old. So there's 2-part claims. There's the Negro harm, and then there's the ongoing harm of our children, which is Foundational Black America. So now through his listing, I can be able to work with those organizations and also work with those individuals who call me specifically and let me know that there's some specific issues that's affecting their family and they need some help ASAP. Then I'm that go-to person. I'm not asking you for no whole bunch of money and all that kind of stuff. I'm asking you to put either your mind, your body, and if you have, put your money where your mouth is to support your own liberty and your own freedom in order to make things happen for you and yours. That's all I'm doing because I got mine. Like I said, I have 3 homes. I have one home that I actually bought and it was me and my husband. My second home I bought and I just put it in my husband. The third home I gave it to people. The 4th home I'm about to buy is for me and my husband. Just because it's just because. That's all I can say. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I'm not trying to make it all about me. I'm trying to make sure that it's all about you all because we family. Now, we are family that makes mistake. We're family that's not perfect. That's why I ask my peoples to start reading from Matthews to Revelation so you're not fooled by these fake pastors and preachers who's trying to water us down and make us simp and beg to God and this, that, and the other. And then, he makes us soft where we don't want to fight this fight to say, you not like us, you're harming us, and we to make sure we stop the bleeding. That's all we're trying to do. We're trying to stop the bleeding. And to do that, We must have examples, not leaders. We don't need no more leaders. If you can't show me that you can open up your home like I have and let some homeless people into my home that's now got their own business, that you can make them self-sufficient, that can help them get resources and help them with their children. Don't come talking to me about you have the answer to my problems. Put your money where your mouth is, and because there's 3 million of us who's on the street now, while you got fake immigrants sitting up in the HUD housing. So put your money where your mouth is. That's how Negroes was ever able to build the Black community and Renaissance and stuff, because we didn't think negative about each other off the rip. We didn't do that. We always believe first spiritual things. I'm not talking about you going to somebody's church and naming yourself for this and that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about your relationship, your personal relationship that you have with the Lord. And he's admonishing you to act a certain type of way to prove to him that you love him. Has absolutely nothing to do with you trying to get kudos from, the media. Or that you're trying to do all this to help people so you can get more money off the people and scam the people. No, I'm not talking about that, because that's not the time that we were on in the days of old. And that's the reason why it wasn't so many of us homeless. That's the reason why we were able to move from one state to another state, because we knew to open up our homes to each other who was in like-minded and who was in the same situation we are in. And so we had that saying, stand a hand to make a friend. Are you my brother keeper? We didn't say no. We said, yes, we are. What can we give you? What can we do to help you? We gonna make room for you, even if we were in the projects. We made room. But Mexicans didn't have that on lock. We had that on lock. We were in projects and it was like 10, 12 of us in one bedroom apartment. And we learned how to make that work and expand ourselves and grow our resources. Mexicans didn't have that on lock. We just have gotten a little bit out of control with our independence, or I ain't gonna say independence, with our civil liberty that allow you to do whatever you want to do. Dress how you want to dress. Make choices how you want to make choices. Do wrong, do right. And y'all think ain't nobody, well, at that time, didn't nobody say nothing to y'all like your grandmothers and stuff like that, because you young generation done got on some demon time and half of you high-headed. And a lot of old people don't even want to spend a lot of time trying to help you guys straighten up right anyway no more. But that time has passed. And it's not fair for you all not to have these keys in order to put your family structure back in its right perspective, like it's supposed to do, to honor God, to honor your grandmothers and your grandfathers. You must begin to put our family structure back where it's supposed to be. Then we must begin to decide who is going to be our example as far as making sure we're safe. Then who?
Okay, she got a phone call.
Then we must begin to make a conscious decision on who's going to be the example of willing to protect us with wisdom. Not we don't want to see our brothers and stuff get their whatever you could say on this app to whatever the means that he disappeared. We don't want to see that. We want our brothers to come home. So we as sisters must become a little bit wiser and letting them do what they do, but not letting them be out like Brussels. To have emergency funds. I don't put my money. I don't care nobody. Listen, I used to have a license to sell insurance and annuity. That means I got my broker's license. So I know about the funds and the money and the mutual funds and this, that, and the other. But Black people can't afford to invest in that stuff like that when you don't have the knowledge or the foresight of somebody who's honest and sincere, that care more about you getting 90% while they only get 10%. If you got somebody who's handling your money and they got greed in their heart, you just lost your money. You just lost your money trying to make money in an area that you have no knowledge, no wisdom, and no understanding. And then you're letting somebody else tell you how to make that money. No, I'd rather have $5,000 here in my household, stop my education, which I did, because I have a JD in law. I'm not a lawyer, but I sat as second chair to attorneys. Okay. But I'd rather have $5,000 in emergency money when my daughter calls and tell me her car is broke down. I'm sending her $600 so she can get whatever she needs to get her car running. You understand what I'm saying? Versus having money that I'm sitting up and letting somebody else hold and make money off my so-called money, but I ain't got no money to help my daughter along. I ain't got no money to help my husband when he's, got some situation at the job, and then they telling him he can't go to work for 3-4 days, and now his income is short. I ain't got no money. I pop over my emergency can all the time and tell my husband, bam, baby, here. Don't even sweat it. When you get back on the clock and make things happen, we good. Okay? You understand what I'm saying? If we're not having examples of showing us how to work together as a family, work together as a people who care about each other, and then have our brothers to see that they have to deal with people who are taking advantage of our structure, that we're willing to not be greedy. We're willing to spread out our resources among each other. We're willing to protect our resources. That's where our brothers come in at. That's where our armies come in at, and let you know, under the Constitution, you have no right to take our life, our liberty, or abridge us from our freedom. Now these brothers who have this, and then have the legal force to protect them, and an army to say that you cannot cross these boundaries, or we're going to raise up in order to protect what's ours, protect our chicken or our hens or whatever you want to call it. Now these brothers who are an example is the brothers that we need to follow. It has nothing to do with these lying politicians. Has absolutely nothing to do with these leaders who are just trying to finagle us, playing with our minds, playing with the fact that half of us don't go back with my intelligence and my intellectual insight that I have go back 6,000 years ago. So I can see what they're trying to do from days of old to they just recreating that same stuff right now today. So now I know how to move accordingly, and have moved accordingly, so that I could throw a life raft out like I'm doing now. I'm throwing a life raft out to protect my people, to help my people from drowning, to stop people from taking advantage of my people because they got black skin. But there's no love from within. Man, if you don't get out of here with that, and I'll land because I believe there's FBA, I think it's Solidarity of Soldiers on here. Go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
No, I was just listening to you. I just joined to just kind of kick it with y'all. But like I just joined, I see what y'all talking about. I absolutely agree. The part where you said about the allies, like it's a lot going on right now. BX, there's a lot that happened again this morning. But I'm not gonna derail your live with the nonsense, because I just blocked that character and I'm moving on. You know what I'm saying? But just know that this is election time, people. So there's a lot of agents out right now. There's a lot of people that's hanging around our circles, on the FBA circles, that's acting like they cool with us, but they really not. They, they have these hidden agendas trying to undermine what we doing. So at this point, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm with you, BX. Like my follow list is about to get very small. You know what I'm saying? I'm steering away from a lot of people because I see, you know what I'm saying, there's a lot of fakeness going on. A lot of people, you know what I'm saying, like FBAs be the main target from everybody. Like we have no friends, like my sister said. So we just need to, you know what I'm saying, just tighten our circle, and just kind of like go into a shell. Stop trying to be so outward, with what we doing, because there's a lot of snakes in our grass. There's a lot of snakes in our lawn right now. So that's what I'm on at this point.
I appreciate you, brother, because that's straight wisdom coming from a brother. And let me just say that, see, politicians is hoping that we're looking for some kind of resources. They ain't gonna get, even if they lie to us, they're not finna give us no resources, brother. You know it. We always have some pettifogger coming into our community trying to sell us some fake gold or some TV with some bricks in it or some kind of hustle. That's the politicians. They're always coming with something under their coat. They got gold dryers and gold combs and gold necklace and something that's golden to us. And we like gold. Most of black people like gold more than we like silver. But that don't mean we have to fall for the fake gold. The faith part, we don't, if I'm trying to be an example and show to you all the resources that it already belong to God. So I don't have to ask. Now you all may have to, but I've already mentioned how many homes I have, and I don't work on a 9-to-5 job. So I don't have to ask them for anything. And if I didn't have to ask, and I'm showing you what I'm an example of true independence. Been married for 35 years, okay? My son, they're not caught up in nobody's system, and they know who I am. So they're not messing with my son or my daughter or my grandchildren. They're safe. I'm trying to spread that same protection that I have and I enjoy. I get up when I want to get up, and I go to bed when I go to bed. I don't mess with no cars because my husband take care of that. I don't answer no doors because my husband take care of that. I don't do no yard work because my husband take care of that. But now ask me if he needs some emergency money around here. Ask me if my lights go off, and I guarantee you I got a generator around here. Ask me if I got a shed outside with some emergency food in it, because FEMA ain't gonna come and see about a sister. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm on a different time than what you all are on in your time period, going to the government and these face politicians. If they couldn't do nothing 5 years ago, they sure can't do nothing now, because now this is the influence of Caucasian people is running the scene, and they're speaking like a lamb, but they're handling you all like a beast, like a dragon. Look how they're handling us. They said about Black Americans building this country. Well, when he said that, how come he didn't back that up with an explanation? As soon as I get in there, I'm going to make sure Black American is receive their reparation, period. And went to Congress and went on. Now, if he was truly honest and upright, saying that for the benefit of our people, and there was no hypocrisy in that, and there was no lies in that, then how come when he went to Congress, the first thing he should have been separating is making sure that we go ahead and clear our debt in our mind and our conscience as Caucasian white people who have lynched, burned, imprisoned, who have stole Black people's centuries' monies of wealth. Let us go ahead and run them that $3.5 trillion that we owe them. And let us go ahead and set their government up, so we'll make sure that government go ahead and send them their money, and everybody get their money. If there was any sincerity in him being an example. He ain't no example or nothing. And because he's the president that has these different kind of evil attributes that's being broadcast in front of the world, look at the it's like people like priests. So look at the conditions of the people. The Caucasian people have just as gotten unruly, more criminalistic, more hateful than ever before. So why would we continue to think that we're going to get some accolade from God by, first of all, you're taking the scripture out of context when it says turn the other cheek. That's sisters and brothers in church, and we trespass against each other. And when we trespass against each other, and if we have a personal relationship with the Lord, then the Lord told me, Sister Kim, don't put it onto her charge. Go ahead and look the other way. Give me a chance to deal with her. Maybe she didn't read Matthews. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for they shall see God. Maybe she didn't get to Matthews. Maybe she didn't get to Romans. Maybe she didn't get to Corinthians. So give me a chance to deal with her. But the next time you come and say hi to your sister, maybe there's no beef between you and the sister. So you look the other way, hoping to see that there's forgiveness between you and your sister, no matter what it is. Because you know the scripture said it doesn't matter who suffered the wrong or who did the wrong. What matters is you and your sister showing that y'all love me and y'all finna make that right. That's what that scripture means. But because you got these good for nothing pimp daddy preachers in there, taking the scriptures out of context and then having us to be fools for our enemies, while our enemies are not playing with us. Look how I just seen a valedictorian sister withstand the hypocrisy in her class. She was scheduled to speak, and the teacher was offended because she said something to her about her writing the N-word. And they took this valedictorian sister, no track record or anything, and by her word arrested her. And then kept her parents from actually coming to the school to deal with it. Now, you mean to tell me that there's a scripture out for you to allow someone to mistreat you like that, and you think God is in that? And y'all believe that God is actually saying this is how we're supposed to deal with people? I can tell you right now that most of those preachers who told y'all that is telling y'all that because they're cowards. They're telling you that because they have a government structure that has them to act and behave and teach a certain type of way. That has absolutely nothing to do with the free will of God in your thinking. That has absolutely nothing to do with you coming to the scripture and God advocating for your behavior. If God said, he said, get along with men as much as possible. When it no longer become possible, then God become our advocate as far as what we decide to do. Now, if we decide to build a fence to keep them out, then God said, amen. If we decide to say, okay, we're just, as long as you don't cross this line, then we're not going to clap back at you, then God says, amen. You see what I'm saying? Because he's a just and an honest and fair and upright God. But these preachers got us so simple-minded, neutralized in fear, thinking that God is finna judge us for every unclean thing we do, that we cannot even act accordingly against these fake politicians that comes in these churches and lie to us. That's how Barack was able to get our attention, because he was going to some Mount Zion Baptist church. So we automatically assumed that he was black, and plus his wife was in Chicago. So we attached them being black, not knowing that President Obama was African. We didn't know that. We found out along the way, and then he had the audacity. The first thing he did was move my Negro ethnicity. How you gonna remove me? How you gonna tell me I don't exist? I'm talking, I'm walking, I'm having children, but you gonna tell me I don't exist? Are you crazy? And then they went for it. Because why? He started to work on the white side of him. He started to do things to accommodate the white side of his personality and his behavior. And we have not had a chance to actually put this stuff in the things, these issues that we have, this dishonesty, this misinformation, this propaganda, this foolery, this hustle that these so-called leaders, Jesse Jackson, Reverend Jackson, and whoever else, who's not a startling example of righteousness, you can't get one of these politicians to come and build immediately. We have over 3 million black people homeless after COVID. If a politician is 100 about a mover and a shaker, then how come he can't quickly develop a black community to get black people off the streets? Specifically, that's a group who needs help. And then why not the immigrants say, yeah, you're right. We have a house. We have a job. We good. Should nobody be homeless? I'm good with that. Go ahead and put a black community up, a plaza for the black people. Nah, African, as soon as they talk about building a home development, the Africans gonna talk about African and black. They won't even let them develop anything for us because they're looking out for their own people. But then as soon as it's time for us to look out for each other, the first deception that comes into mind, they make us think that we are obligated to care for everybody else when nobody care about us. Man, you got me twisted. There should be an equal exchange. There should be a willingness to make sure that I'm not, that I'm not hungry, and nor are you. But you got my people on the street while your people sitting up in the Section A. The Section A programs, they just did a audit just this year. I think it was in January. They did an audit. And they showed that the immigrants had begun to conspire to make sure they kept black people out. It was over out of 8 applications, over 5 of them had immigrants in there. And the other 3 had other nationality. And it was only 1 black person in that whole 8 application that had a housing voucher. That's the reason why most of black people are still on housing lists right now today, is because Mexican and the Africans are gatekeeping Section A. They're gatekeeping the opening of the application, and while they're gatekeeping the low income programs, the white people are putting double pressure on us, because the white people say now you got to have 3 times the amount, where you all ain't making no 3 times of amount nothing to be going into trying to put a deposit down 3 times the amount. They're taking away your jobs. We need each other now. There's no time to be blaspheming against each other. This is no time to be warring against each other. I don't care what it is. This is the time to give them what they always was afraid of, and that's us coming together. That's us united. United we stand, and divided we fall. We have failed so far. You can look. We're trying to pick up the pieces now, because we have given everything we have to everybody else. Now that we have given everything to everybody else, and they can't help us, they can't protect us, they can't get us no resources, they can't create no business plan, no blueprint, no new development. They sit in our space, and then they extrapolate every good idea that belongs to our freedom, and they go run and sit at their table and act like they came up with it. Were you just a busybody in another man's affairs? You're building off what I'm saying about my people. You ain't got to get up. And the Spirit of the Lord that given me to give this to you anyway, you can only make it happen to a certain extent. You ain't able to lead my people to Canaan's land. So you only gonna talk a good game so you can get a free ride. There you go, being a welfare recipient again. Come, you leeching off of my ideas. But you won't let me use my idea for my people. Stallions run with stallions. Why are you over here messing with us and you a zebra? Zebras and stallions can't be together. But you want us to accept, you're trying to train us to accept zebras to come in and fear with us just because they got 4 legs and a tail. Next thing, you're going to put a donkey with us too. You let us take then a goat, then a ram. You put anything around us and say, oh, y'all got to accept them. No, the heck we don't. I got Belgian Malinois. I got them John Wick dogs. They on duty. So, but anyway, I'll land and see if anyone wants to, just kind of follow back on the inconsistency of the politicians who are now hitting the scene, and that there's no consistency in their ability to provide anything immediately to help us. Case in point, why are they not talking about medical abuse? We have sisters just going to the hospital trying to have children before cops are called on them, because you got fake foreigners who are victimizing us about something. We're there to get treatment, and they're there to imprison us while we're there. We have fell into their entrapment. We go to their hospital thinking that they're going to care for us, and lo and behold, it never fails. Where some diabolical situation happens when we go to their hospitals, when we go for medical care. And half of it has a lot to do with immigrant foreigners and Caucasian people and other people who care absolutely nothing about our lives. Now, not only do they take away our organs, but they also then take away our lives from healthy women, and then turn around, take away our children when we just come into the hospital to check on our children, to have them to make sure that our children is okay, so we're not neglectful parents. And then as soon as we get there, we're running into the malice and the devil mindset of the individual who have every intent to try us. And the only reason why they feel that they're trying us, why? Is because you sisters and I haven't unified enough to say, sue them. We haven't unified enough to put a restraining order on them. We haven't unified enough in order to do any pushback against the police who's not even keeping us safe and taking one side situation. They don't got no fear. They don't fear that we can come together again. They feel that we are at the bottom of the barrel. We are broken. We're divided. The NAACP don't represent us no more. I just seen them celebrate the Haitian flag. They gave salute to the Haitian independence. Why the Negro Black Heritage flag is trying to solidify that we have now a flag. Not only do we have a flag, but we have land. Not only do we have land, but we have a national anthem. Not only was we respected and acknowledged by President Jefferson himself, we don't really need the NAA to acknowledge our independency. But because this information is saturated, we can't see and have confidence in our liberty that already belongs to us. We're so busy on our knees begging for someone who have fake power, because the last I checked, my guy has my power. He has the power to say, Sister Kim, time and chance is up. Did you do what you supposed to do? Yes or no? Everybody else got to give account too. So why should I sit up here and tremble and fear by someone who gonna tell me what kind of car? You don't tell me what kind of car I drive. And I've drove in the nicest cars. You don't tell me what kind of house I'm gonna live in. I use my own skills, my own knowledge, my own ability to live in not 1, 2, but 3. So I don't know how you immigrants think y'all one up on black people when we got these kind of skills. Y'all can't even go and make sure y'all got run, especially in Nigeria, that y'all got a running toilet. Last I checked, y'all boo-booing in the streets. Y'all still got ran down. That's not a ghetto, that's slum. That y'all haven't even correct. And the only reason why we got ghetto is because Caucasian people keep interfering with our development and our ability to prosper. Every time we pass go, they right there trying to do something to pull us back. And you good for nothing infidels, immigrants, are helping them. And then you want us to cape for you. You want us to say, oh, we're going to accept unity because you asked for it. No, you only asking for unity. You ain't fooling nobody. You only asking unity because you afraid now. Why? Because you all are facing the worstest nightmare that y'all could ever imagine. And that's Trump. Trump is put in there for a reason. The Spirit of God has put Trump in there because he's the 8th head of the dragon in Revelation. He's sounding like a lamb, but look at all his moves. Everything he touched is devilish. Everything he's touched is bringing down every group of people. He's all over in every country causing war. And I know you black people should know the scriptures. There's wars and rumors of war before the end time. Well, where you think we at? We in the city right now. We have wars that are actually taking place, literal wars. And then you got small countries who's telling Trump, we ain't scared of America no more. And y'all ain't even got Negroes and Black Americans in your army to do that clever stuff we do to make America great, to make America win war. Y'all got Caucasian people. Y'all got some mixed people who ain't suffered nothing. When we fought in these wars, it's because we wanted to be equal to white people. So we gave it our all. Negroes gave it our all. We put our soul into the fight. We was jeopardizing everything so that we could be able to come here and be respected by white people, be friends with white people, loved by white people. And look what they've done. They done turned our civil rights back 50 years. Look what they have done. They have taken away affirmative action. Affirmative action was set there in order for you all to have jobs, where they couldn't overlook you all. It wasn't for them to pick out based on colors. It was to remind them that they were discriminatory. Affirmative action was trying to say, keep the book straight. But we have let the Asian people, because they do our nails, get away with removing affirmative action. And we ain't shut them down. I don't need them. I don't need to have my nails looking that good where you sit up here and just mess with my history. Mess with sacrifice, mess with blood. I don't need my nails to look that good. I don't need to wear your hair or whoever hair it is that bad where I'm finna sit there and let you remove affirmative action. Now my people don't have a job. Then you have went with, do you know Blum was a part of action? His Flum, Ed Blum, his family line is written on the registry of a slave owner. Y'all don't know that. So why you think he have generational hate to come after these funds that is specifically to help black businesses, that he went and actually sued to shut them down and said that it was discriminatory based on colorblind. Colorblind means that white people was not supposed to see color. He was actually able to remove the law of colorblind and now blinded everybody with color. Based on your color, you're going to get a job. Based on your color, you're not going to get a job. We have issues. And you got politicians not even trying to address these issues with our young people not having a job, us being unemployed, us being not having no housing. And the first thing they keep talking about is some immigrant law for all people. Immigrants is the one who's, the last I checked, Mexicans had what they called a pre-approval scam program, where they were given fake pre-approval letter in order to buy up properties. And these are the people you're talking about for us to make room for. Them the immigrants. And they don't even have to be running from a war now. So it ain't even about what you call they looking for refuge. You're just saying because they're immigrants, they're entitled to all the things that America has to offer. Immigrants get that too. So let's prioritize the immigrants. Because what we're actually doing is purging United States of America from the history of chattel slavery and black people who built the country. We're going to replace them. We don't need them to be garbage pickers no more. We don't need them to invent no more. Everything is invent. Now we use the Asians to repair everything. We don't need them to build anything no more. So now, since that we're done with them, let's just annihilate them. That's Project 2025. Let's find reasons to get them out of the streets and into prisons. Let us now patrol them and take them back for doing the simplest thing. They don't even tell you no more. And your young people, what did they do? They just pull out the car and say one thing to you and then lead to arrest. And we got, with all your education and all your college degree and all your smarts, we ain't got no pushback for that ungodly, devilish, barbaric atrocity, atrocious, egregious wrongs. We ain't got no pushback. And you ain't got no politicians able to seize the opportunity to say that your immunity stops when you do this, that's against our seniors. When you do this, that's against an 8-year-old. They feel comfortable because they don't see parents, black parents of old, gut punching that behind. They feel comfortable to come and arrest an 11-year-old kid that's just simply trying to sell some water, or just going to his friend's house, or just going to the park with his toy. They feel comfortable about messing with my precious children. And that's one thing about Negroes. Your children is our children. We don't care if they're you, and we don't care nothing about all that bloodline. Negroes don't care about that. We include each other in the struggle. We're attached to each other one way or another, of either by the Spirit of God or by the history, by our suffrage, by our struggle. We're attached to each other. So when they're messing with your 8-year-old, they messing with my 8-year-old. That's Negro thinking for you. And Africans are coming over here dividing that kind of love that we have with each other. Talk about we all are the same. We ain't the same. We have already seen you say that we are disgrace. We already heard you say you don't, slave food? We already heard you cuss at us. You cursed at us. You already talked about our children. You've already talked about black men because y'all on some voodoo stuff. And I got pictures to prove it. Y'all on some voodoo, hateful stuff. Y'all hate your own men in your own land. And then you done made books over here in the United States of America calling us Akatas. And you are professors and teachers in our school, at our HBCUs, and you calling us Akatas. And then you're going to lie about it. And try to act like that's something that we created here in America. America we have no use for that word. And we can't hold you accountable or dependable or responsible for nothing you have done or said. Because y'all irritant liars. Good for nothing infidels. On your continent of Africa, y'all got a tree that's called euphorbia. That euphorbia tree grows just like a green tree, but it's poisonous. You have come over here with your poisonous roots, and you have attached yourself to us, and you're poisoning us. And you're poisoning the efforts that we're trying to do to have the same liberty and freedom that you sold us into a death situation that you have failed to do anything to rectify, restore, redeem, or repent from. But you want us to say all hail to Africa because you a continent where we come from, that you sold us from, that you let people come and steal us from. And because we were by the grace and mercy of God, he still showed us favor that absolutely had nothing to do with you. You're trying to infuse yourself in honor that you do not deserve. And because we're telling you about it, you're saying we hate you. You hated us first. You were jealous of us first. You were disrespectful of us first. How can we be disrespectful for you when we fought for the anti-South apartheid? We were for Nelson Mandela and Winnie Mandela. How can you say we hate you? We didn't even trip about you coming into our community. So stop the cap, stop the lies. We don't want to hear it no more. You're not built like us. You never was and you never will be. So let's just get the fact you stand on your cowardness behavior and we'll stand on our fighting behavior. You and I are not the same. We don't need you. And now since we're clear who our enemies is, and they're not freemen. We don't like some of the things. We all got bad behavior. We may not like some of the freemen approach, but we're still fam with freemen. Me personally, Negro Night is always watching some of the things freemen say. But I still haven't went for freemen because I know where freeman origin come from. And I got respect for freemen. I haven't went for foundational Black Americans and the things they say or done as mistake because they family. I haven't went for the people down in the South because they too have a purpose. Just don't mess with the Negro FBA reparation, and I ain't got no problem with you. So now I can focus because I know who my friends are. I know who my people are. So now I have solidified that. Now I can easily go for the atrocious harm that has been created where of Africans are misappropriating our culture. African has violated our human rights under having the right to protect and gatekeep our culture, our Blackness, and our music and our history. And that's under the Bill of Human Rights. I think it's Article 23. We have every right to now protect what's ours. And now you offended because why? We're showing what you refuse to do, which is stand up and be upright and say who y'all really are. Now, because we exposing that y'all been hooking and crooking and y'all the true criminals, and because we have exposed you all are running for cover, talk about, oh, well, why is Black people mad at us? Now we need to separate and still try to have some root in this earth. We still generation. What generation what? Generation that mixed and coagulated and accumulated and mixed into our culture? What does it mean to say I'm generation? You're just trying to act like you belong somewhere you don't belong, so you claiming a generation of being immigrants. What does that mean? That's not an ethnicity. Generation is not an origin. Generation is not a race. Generation is not a demographic. You're just using generation in order to make it seem like you got some authority over the people who really supposed to be here with authority. I hear y'all telling my Black sons, my black young youth that they have no authority to talk about black issues. I give them authority as their ancestors. I give them authority to gatekeep my household and my heritage and the things that Negroes been through. I give them authority. I give them charge according to the word of God. If they're in righteousness' sake, I give them charge. So who are you if you're waiting on the government to give them authority? By the Constitution, I give them authority. By the Declaration of Independence, I give them authority. Now what? By the emblemaents that I've received in the seal of the Emancipation seal that I have, I give them authority. Now who are you to come and challenge me? I wish you would. I wish you would. This is true independence. And this is independence to set my people free. Let my people go. Let my people go out of your white churches that preach a lie. Let my people go. Let my people go from infusing them into your culture that absolutely stands for nothing. Let them go. Give my people the money that we have already built and put into your bank and your insurance policy and in your annuity that y'all stole from us, that they're entitled to. That's the reason why Freedmen Bank has hit the scene. And as soon as Freedmen Bank hit the scene, they wasn't even able to get the money that was under the Congress, that was under the equality, the equal equality to give the Freedmen Bureau back the money that they had stole. They messed around and put a fake black CEO or president bank over that money. And then he put out notices to the Mexican community. They lined up and got that money out of the Freedmen Bank. So Freedmen mindset and the individual missed the opportunity to secure that was belonged to the Freedmen Bureau, the Congress had torn down, and y'all had an opportunity to restore. So I told Freedmen to go build a Freedmen Bureau in every state. I did that. Because they're entitled to something that once was theirs under the bills of the army of the Negroes who fought for something and haven't been properly restored, nor did they get the money. So they're entitled to that. My black children who are suffering under the hands of racism and prejudice and hatred, they're entitled to a remedy and relief from that. Human harm. My Negroes who were lynched, burned, and children was fed to the alligators and our property was burnt on, we're entitled to redemption. And you guys got the nerves to come over here and tell us and interfere with us and tell us what we can and cannot have, and then tell us to shut up and sit down somewhere while y'all take and steal from us. Are y'all crazy? Y'all think we some lick booties, some fools? Y'all think we stupid? So don't come in here in our spaces and try to preach to us like y'all knowledgeable. And half of the education that y'all do have is a watered down history. It's what white people want y'all to know because they want you to know just enough so you can oppose us. Just enough so you can oppress us. And then when I come and our elders come and we come and put it together and tell y'all the truth and nothing but the truth will help you God, then the first thing you're going to try to act like you black enough to tell us that we don't know what we talking about. We got the dates wrong. We got the history wrong. And then at the same time, while you telling us, like Sista Breuck said, while you telling us what we got wrong, y'all turn around and then go form a black coalition, not a black coalition, but an African coalition on the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment. Y'all tell us we wrong, and then y'all go behind our back and then try to put the civil rights in like that actually is talking to you all. Y'all commandeering our stuff. And then when we tell you commandeering, y'all ain't gonna stop because y'all can't make no money on y'all own. So you ain't gonna stop and do nothing on your own. Talk about y'all hard worker. Yeah, y'all hard workers stealing our stuff. Y'all hard working and lying. Y'all hard working and being deceptive. Y'all hard working and making us think y'all were one of us. And so we voted y'all into these office, these black caucuses and all these black this and black that, only to come to find out that you cared about immigrants. You cared about Africans. You cared about Jamaicans. You cared about Caribbeans at our expense. So now what I'm telling you, Sister BX, everything we gave to them, let's take it back. Everything we gave to America to make America appetizing and pleasing to other people who want to come over here and eat the hot dogs and the hamburgers and the soul food and all. Let's take it all back. You take that back by claiming that that's a misappropriation of culture. Just like when the Jews start dealing with Netflix, when Jada Pinkett, which black people are from Egypt, there are black people from Egypt. And we have a lot of historical facts to show that Egyptians their skin was not Caucasian or with Ham's color. Ham is the people he generated white people. That wasn't there. Those people was not in the continent of Africa. They couldn't even stay there because Africa was too hot for them to they get sunburned even here in California. less known to try to act like they actually originated from the continent of Africa. Come on, y'all. But anyway, they tried to replace the Egyptian with Black America, and the Jewish and the Egyptian filed a lawsuit called misappropriation. How come we ain't doing that? We ain't doing that because you ain't sitting around a table such as my table, or tables like the one I have, that we can come together with our legal mind and start dealing with this misappropriation from Africa. Africans from Africa, Jamaicans from Jamaica, Trinidadians, all this culture swapping and we got history. We got paperwork to prove that you are galvanizing and that you are misappropriating our culture because you're not in the woven of this fiber. You are immigrant or a foreigner that we accept as American citizen if you law abiding. Well, saying anything that is false and misleading and propaganda that y'all doing on these spaces and promoting misinformation about you, who you think you are, and I can find paperwork to show you lying, you got problems. X got problems. X ain't above being sued because he letting y'all on these spaces talk that crap about my people. They're not subject, they're not vindicated, they're not no one special. They can get sued too. Facebook can get sued too. AI can get sued too. Misinformation is misinformation. I don't care what search engine you on. You run around here, got Juneteenth flags after we told you that Juneteenth flag is got to do with Texas, which got to do with my grandmother who was in Texas, that didn't know that they were free, and you running around here associate Pan-African colors. That's not a Pan-African movement. Matter of fact, the United States has shut down Pan-African years ago. And you're running around here trying to bring Pan-Africanists against what Juneteenth reparation is so you can get dollars. So you can be at a parade, or you can create a festival, or you can create some kind of what you call commercialized celebration so your people can get some money off our expense. Come on now. And you want us to respect you? You want us to honor you? You don't want us to go ahead and put a restraining order on you? You don't want us to go ahead and make you pay us back to harm you and your little organization? Your organization ain't set. Why you think they got agents in your organization? They got agent in your organization to handle lawsuits. Your nonprofit ain't vindicated from being sued. Your fake African American braiding shop ain't vindicated from being sued for misappropriating, acting like you African to food and African. That's conspiracy to fool a group of people. You organized, you criminals that came from the African continent. Y'all came over here with a conspiracy to organize to create revenue at the expense of black people. That's racketeering and organizing. Black people just never called you out for it. We had no reason to. We didn't care. We just didn't care. Now we care. And because we care, and I've studied you all, I've seen your practice, I've seen your behavior, I've seen the harm and the hurt that you call my community. And you have rattled my cage. And I'm not finna be up here sitting up here. Only person probably get this kind of close, much attention and follow my cases probably be at BBX, because I'm selective on the people who I talk to. But I am going to spend most of my time running up and making sure that I slow the Department of Justice down to go back 10 and 15 years and do an audit on your fake education and your attorneys that caused themselves also fake Africans and black people who got these so-called degrees, these law degrees, at a time that they came over here seeking asylum or whatever it is they call it. And after their country was free, they were supposed to go back, but they stayed. And even their applications that they got, them too selected the box that said they were black. That means that you went against the bar on professional ethic conduct that told you to be honest in order for you to even have your degree in the first place. You can argue it all you want to, but still you're going to have to give an account. If that's called attorney professional misconduct. So your African attorneys, they ain't even getting away with your fake applications. This is how fed up we are with you all and your dishonesty and your spit that you spit at us when we were just trying to make room for you in our community, make room for you from our heart, make room for you because you came from our land. We were trying to make room for you. And then we even had some Black Americans who loved y'all enough and believed in y'all enough to go back over there by the 1,000 and they sold their house and went over there. And you all have the capacity to actually, do what you're doing, that they not even in existence no more. And then your government is so disrespectful. Your parliament, yeah, I know about your government because I'm talking to them. That's the reason why I can bring out your parliaments, your speakers, the ones that's in Egypt, the ones that's in South Africa, the ones in West Africa. I know who they are because I'm talking to them. And I have the ability to bring them to the wrongs that you all are doing against Black people who have moved over there and they're unalive. Why they're not giving us an account? What happened to my people who have went over there to Africa and they're unalive? Why you ain't sending no kind of alarm and letting them know when they hit that y'all got some hustle, y'all got a shakedown as soon as they get off the plane? Y'all got a shakedown for foreign Black people. Y'all got a trafficking when as soon as they hit the plane, soon they hit the land, y'all shake them down. We ain't shaking y'all down. And then y'all have the nerves to come over here and then do a shakedown in our community. And the only reason why white America ain't gave y'all the business and threw y'all out of y'all so-called politician seats is because we haven't complained enough like we supposed to let them know to keep an eye off on the immigration department who have legalized illegals coming in here causing harm to the American citizen, the Negro American citizen, the foundational Black American citizen, the Freeman American citizen. And that's the only reason why y'all been scazing through, because we haven't said anything. But now we are. I am saying something. My organization is saying something. The organization that I collaborate is saying something. The Negro Women Council, which 2 million of us, is saying something. We're saying something now. Now the tables are going to turn because, one, you did things or you're doing things that is illegal. You're doing things that is dishonest. You can't even be here with us and show us mutual honesty and respect. You can't even be here and stop trafficking our children. Why do you think, why is there so many 500,000 Black women that's coming up missing since y'all got here? Because y'all live off of merchant. Y'all whole continent is off of mercantilism. That's how trading. That's how y'all make money. So you actually came over here with your mercantilism behavior, and Black people didn't even care. We didn't even check to see what you were bringing to the table. Your dishonesty, your hook and crook, your voodooism, your poisoning of our food, your mama and daddy telling you to hate us. We didn't even check y'all for that. We didn't even check that y'all came over here with the intent, conspired to take over our university. We didn't check y'all for that, to get into these platforms and to work against us. We didn't check y'all for that. We didn't do no checking. But you all came for our juggler to harm us in a way that it's going to take us 10 to 15 years in order to recover. And you think that we're all of a sudden, because you Black and you come in here talking about, oh, well, I think it's time for unity. No, it's not. And the reason it's not because it's the Spirit of the Lord is on this whole world. He's saying, separate yourself from the unrighteous. And y'all some unrighteous bunch of good for nothings. Ain't near one of y'all, and I can say this because the proof is in the pudding. There's no proof out here to show that Africans by themselves, not African Americans and not Africans with Americans' help, African by themselves has came and restored any of our schools that have been shut down. And y'all get education from our school. Y'all can't prove that. There's no momentum work to show that y'all came together, got FEMA, y'all got the army together and sent them to Jacksonville, Florida, like the Negro Black Knight Heritage Club did, and made sure that he got some water, and he was specific about the area, and he was able to get a truck to actually deliver it to him. Y'all ain't got no work like that. Y'all talk about y'all donated, y'all gave a little fun. Stop lying. That money circulated right back to your family that's also in Louisiana, that's also in Jacksonville, that y'all came up with some kind of scam to get grant money so that y'all, and some disaster relief money that never got to us. So to stop playing with us. So, but we're calling you out on, at least I am. I'm calling you out on your atrocious and terroristic behavior, your scamming behavior. I'm calling you all out on it. If you honest, then you ain't got nothing to worry about. If you came over here and you was for black people and you didn't do nothing to black people, and you ain't trying to say that you black immigrant, you're black African, you black Jamaican, you black this, and you're standing on Jamaican and you standing on African without claiming that you black, and you sitting up here developing, you know, your black community, and you doing your due, and you're not stealing and checking no box to say you black African American, you didn't get no diversity grants that never got to us, then I'm not talking to you. But the audit is coming because white people don't appreciate you lying to get money that you do not, that does not belong to you. So white people are now coming for their money. And you ain't got no paperwork to prove that you actually gave black people anything, even though you said that you were a minority group of people or a minority group of organization that was actually trying to put some money back into our community. You ain't got no proof in the pudding to show that you approved a black person application to make sure that they got a loan. You ain't got no proof. You ain't got no proof to show that you actually put over 150 black people in a diversity apartment building that you built up in our community, that you actually put at least 150 black people in that apartment building that had over 1,000 units in there. You ain't got no proof. Your city ain't got no proof. Your mayor ain't got no proof. None of y'all got no proof to show that you have cared not one iota for foundational black Americans, for Negroes, or for freemen. Y'all ain't got no proof. And that's what's going to be y'all problem. That means that y'all conspired against the government by telling the government y'all was going to do something that y'all ain't did nothing. That's misappropriation of funds, fool. But y'all smarter than us. Y'all done woke up the beast in us. That's all y'all done. And now we're ready to sound off and to do whatever we need to do to remedy the injustice that y'all have caused in our community without a cause. Y'all came over here hating us without a cause. And when we telling you about it, y'all so good for nothing irritant. Y'all trying to justify and vindicate and act like y'all smarter than us, that you hate us for telling you all that y'all have claimed in our window and stole our goods. Y'all claimed in the window and stole blackness, African American. Y'all done climbed in our window and stole our heritage, stole Juneteenth, stole everything that belonged to us. Y'all done stole from us. And y'all think stealing is legal? Y'all think there's no laws out there that we don't know of that can deal with you stealing from us? Y'all some brand new people off the block. Y'all don't know what you ought to know. And now y'all trying to say, well, okay, y'all doing some pushback because y'all gonna feel it in about a year or so, your braiding shops. Y'all gonna fear because most of y'all, half of y'all that's over here illegal, y'all finna be deported. So that little